View mode. Yes, I think we are live. Wow. Okay. I hope this is working. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm Father Roderick. Welcome to this Friday stream. And I'm super excited today because I'm for the first time using eCam to stream to multiple platforms. This is an update that they launched just yesterday, or they presented it yesterday. Has been in beta for a couple of months now. And I'm a huge fan of eCam. It's a Mac-specific software, so it runs on my laptop. And that was also one of the issues that I had with it because it was so tied to the Mac. And it was fine for what it did when it comes to streaming. If you only wanted to stream to one platform, for instance, I use it every Monday for my Lego stream, and it works really wonders. It's great. I can see the comments in the chat room. I can even project comments. Like now, I'm clicking here on Jennifer's comment, and Jennifer says hi from Kansas, and it's little things like that. I love that I'm able to do that, and it's super easy to use. But it was limited to one channel, and I was using StreamYard, which is a browser-based application for situations in which I wanted to stream to multiple platforms. So I have quite a following on Facebook. And I also have a Twitch channel. So I was using StreamYard for that. But then StreamYard is an additional subscription. Plus, it only allows me to stream in 720p, so pretty low quality. And an additional problem is it doesn't use this camera. It doesn't see it. It can only use my built-in webcam on the computer, which is unfortunately not very good. But, of course, I wanted to reach as many people as possible. So, well, it was a compromise. But now with the new version of eCam that launched yesterday, I am actually able to stream. Right now, believe it or not, I'm streaming to 4 destinations, and that's not even half of what I could do. So I'm streaming to YouTube. Most of you are watching this on YouTube. Streaming this to Facebook. I'm streaming to Twitch, and I'm even streaming this to my LinkedIn profile. So people that follow me on LinkedIn also get a notification that I'm live, and they can chime in. Now, of course, all these platforms have different types of audiences, different types of people that are following me. So maybe it depends on what the topic is of each stream. So maybe in the future I will do some streams that are more like focused on Star Wars, for instance. I would do that on YouTube. If I talk more about media production and want to share some tips on how to use a camera or how to edit, LinkedIn is probably the best place to do that. If I talk about video games, or I stream video games live, I'd probably do it on Twitch. We've got Lauren, who is actually watching this on Facebook. So hi, Lauren. And for Lauren, it's still morning. Here it is now, what is it? It's almost 5:30. I had to install the new version, so it took me a while before I could go online. We've got some more people joining us. If you look at the comments, even if you're not on YouTube, you can still see what people are posting there. SL7 says, I heard there was a great disturbance in the force. Notifications, perhaps? I'm not sure if the notifications for my live streams cause a disturbance in the force, but you never know. Some nice English tea here. Now it is 5 o'clock here, so I could actually pretend that this is whiskey, but no, it's just tea. We've got Tommy also joining us from New Hampshire. I have to admit that I don't really know what that is, New Hampshire. I know it's in the US, but which part? I guess somewhere in the middle, but that's a safe bet. Somewhere in the middle, it's kind of very vague, but maybe I'm wrong. Liz is there also, and her husband Michiel also joining us. And Jennifer says, I commend you for learning how to do all this and maintaining your pastoral duties. Well, it's kind of part of my pastoral duties, this kind of work, because I have been appointed to work full-time in the media. So it's just the tools of the trade. But it works well. And I've always had a knack for computers and stuff. Mike is there. Good morning or good afternoon. And Gilden says, 5:30. Are you in Europe? Yes, I am. This is what you're seeing here outside my window. That is the Netherlands. It is not very instructive, of course. No windmills in the background. Maybe I should put like a miniature windmill there, so to typecast me a little bit better. But yeah, this is. Although I have to say here, this part of my living room is meant to feel a bit like the Shire. So it's. I always call this my Hobbit corner because I've got the fireplace and I've got some old-fashioned printed books. Yeah, and I actually I'm still working on this corner and making it a little bit more cozy. So I've got this radiator here, which is very important to heat up the place, but it doesn't look very hobbity. So I've seen that you can actually get like a prefab wood that has like, for instance, a motif like cutouts in it, and you can paint it like brown and cover this modern looking radiator with that, and it will look automatically a lot more hobbity. So I'm hoping to do that in the months to come. And yeah, I'm not sure about the mirror. There's a mirror here above. It reflects the light of the lamp, but I'm not sure about the mirror. There is another here on this side. You cannot see that. I have a big painting. This originally was supposed to be a map of Middle Earth, but those are all sold out. I don't know if it's because of the popularity of the Rings of Power, but what I would like to do is to make a printout. There is a high-resolution version of the map of Middle Earth from the Second Age, so the time period of the Rings of Power. And you can download like a very high-resolution version of that map, and I'm thinking of letting it print in full color and then put it here on the wall. But maybe it should be there. Maybe that paint, instead of having that mirror, it just should be a nice painting of the Shire with some Hobbit homes, just like you would have in Bag End. So I don't know. Sandy is also joining us today again. And let's see. Everhard is also joining us. Was watching the Clone Wars, but had to put that on pause. Ooh, I'm honored. I hope you enjoy the Clone Wars so far. Where are you at? Which season? And we've got Massimo. Ciao, 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 Massimo. Come va? Tutto a posto? And New England is in the northeast. Oh, okay, northeast. So that would be, what was it again? New Hampshire, right? Northeastern part of the U.S. New Hampshire is in the extreme northeast. Oh, right next to Vermont, which is to the northeast of New York. Oh, I see that area. Very well. I don't think I've ever been there. I've been north of New York once, I think, but only for a day, just to be outside of New York. And I just remember it was very beautiful. It was in the fall, so everything was just color-wise. The trees were fantastic. Joachim says, you are at the right vocation. I agree. Oh, Massimo says, that we met on the Camino di Santiago. Oh, no, Massimo was on the Camino di Santiago in 2017. When did I walk the Camino? Was it also in 2017? I don't recall. When was that? Wait, I had been ordained a priest for 20 years. And today is actually the anniversary of my ordination to the deaconate. So I was ordained a deacon today, in 1996, I think. Yeah, 1996. So 20 years. So Massimo, help me. Did we meet on the Camino, or I don't remember. I so want to go back to the Camino. It was so one of the most important moments in my life. Kansas is in the middle of the U.S. Yes, I know. Kansas, I know. But we're not in Kansas anymore here. I bet you never heard that joke. The road to Santiago, so cool, yes. I want to go back. Be careful not to use the ring light in the Hobbit room. Yeah, I don't have a ring light. It's too powerful. Too powerful. Oh, Avart is now at season 6 of the Clone Wars. That's where a lot of the good stuff happens. Excellent. Hey, the Rosary Army stream. I assume this is Greg, but it may also be Jennifer, of course, because the Rosary Army is all of them. It's good to see you. It's so awesome that, and of course, I've always been doing live on YouTube, but as I mentioned before, most of you entered the chat. I'm currently actually using the newest version of Ecamm, and it has multiple destinations, finally. So it works with my good camera. I can stream in HD, and I'm currently streaming to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Libsyn. No, not Libsyn. LinkedIn. So it's really cool. I'm so excited and it came for free. It's just an update, no change in price. So it's a very, very cool development. And it also pays off to have a new Mac, because I think you can have like 10 interviewees in one show because of the power of the Apple Silicon. It's very, very cool. Retapai, may the force be with you always, Father. The same and with your spirit, as we say in the Catholic Church. North of New York, beautiful part of the country, especially in the autumn when the leaves have changed. Yes, definitely. Boston was also gorgeous in the fall. We did a meetup in Boston years ago, and it was spectacular. It was all the trees were yellow. We did one of those duck boat tours, and when we came back to the harbor, you saw the streets were lined with these gorgeous trees. Oh, I still regret that I didn't have a proper camera at the time, so I filmed everything with I think just one of these old digital 8 cameras, Sony. It's terrible quality. Maybe I can spruce it up. I've purchased last year. I purchased the Topaz video enhancer software, and it's actually very powerful when it comes to upscaling and improving old VHS footage and getting rid of the jaggies and stuff. One of my goals is to recover a lot of that old footage. So I can tell stories with it. Right now it's unusable. It looks so bad. But with these AI-powered video programs, there is so much you can do to salvage even terrible-looking footage. Or when I was at the Star Wars Celebration in Denver, when was that? That was in 2000 was it before Rome? Yeah, it was before Rome. So it must have been maybe in 2001. Anyway, it's a long time ago. And I took a lot of photos with an old-fashioned analog camera. And I took a bunch of photos with, at the time, a revolutionary digital camera, which was called the Mavica. It was from Sony. And you had recorded everything on a floppy drive. But the photos were tiny. I think they were 640 times 320. So that is that looked fine on the monitors in those days, because their resolution, standard resolution of a 13-inch monitor was usually 640 by 320. I played Doom and Tomb Raider in that resolution. But of course, nowadays with these big monitors and 4K screens, those photos look very grainy. But they're very precious to me, because that was the time before the internet, the internet was there, but definitely before the selfies. And so, but I have a lot of photos with actors from Star Wars, with Kenny Baker and Peter Mayhew and what's his name, who plays the original Boba Fett, Jeremy something. It will come to me. And so those photos look so low resolution, so grainy, and oftentimes it was on a convention floor, so it was kind of dark. But I tried to upscale a few of those photos with the new software, and I was stunned to see what it did and how much detail the AI could recover or even generate, just new details, but still, feeling very natural. It's incredible. The ring light was forged in the fireplace of Mount Doom. Yeah, that's why I keep a fireplace at hand here. So if there's ever a ring that needs to be destroyed, can do it here, right at home. Don't have to travel. Jeremy says, finally made it to work after dealing with getting a rental car. Oh gosh, that is always a pain, right? Did your own car break down? Or rental cars is always such a hassle. I'm always the guy who has to get the rental car for when I go on vacation with my friends, and we don't have our own. I don't have a car, but oftentimes the other priests will have their car. But if we don't, then I usually get the best deal, because I will just go online and I'll just do all these comparison sites, and but then I also have to fill in all the documents, and there's so many ways in which they try to extort more money from you. So you have to be super vigilant that you don't accidentally sign something that ultimately will end up in hundreds of dollars extra money. Yeah, it's crazy. Or euros. It's Greg. Jennifer never watches YouTube. Something told me it was Greg. How's the writing going, by the way? I saw you had a Substack, and that you were starting to do these episodical parts of novels that you were writing, and I think didn't you also publish an older novel that you still hadn't published yet? And that was a very cool idea. So I hadn't really looked into Substack yet, and I still want to do that. But I like that idea that instead of doing a newsletter, to just have people subscribe to your blog post, or in this case, stories. I was thinking, well, I would love to do something like that. The problem is I have a website, but I don't like websites. It's always a hassle to update. I mean, I love WordPress and it's wonderful, but you don't go to a website and just type a story and post it. It's always I need a title, need to post a picture. Do I have to write tags? So I only use the website for the podcast and because the the WordPress website generates an RSS feed, but almost no one goes to the website anyway. We still have a MailChimp account for the newsletter, but also MailChimp, same problem. It's such a hassle to you have to format it, and then it's so complicated. And I always like I'm every month I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write a newsletter. And then I go to MailChimp and I'm like, I'm so discouraged. This is too much work. I'm too old for this. I'm on the verge of retirement, and no, I can't do this. So, but Substack feels so natural. It's almost like an online word processor, and it's super easy to write new stories, and it's so. I love that you can just send out a message for, hey, there's a new blog post, or come and read this. And from what I heard, you can also have people, if you have enough people reading your stuff, you could even propose, like if they go to a paid subscription, you can give them extra stuff. I just love that model. So yeah, congrats on doing that. Greg downloaded Ecamm 4 yesterday. I saw the presentation yesterday that they had a live stream on YouTube where they explained all the new stuff. I was very impressed, and it's all no extra fees. And I was actually, I'm super lucky. I was just grandfathered in. I just bought Ecamm for a one-time fee. And so nowadays, I think to use all the stuff, you have to pay a subscription, which is, totally understandable, because that keeps the programmers alive, of course. But having like 10 destinations that you can stream to simultaneously for free. If, like on Stream, what is it, StreamYard, you have to pay extra for that. Yeah, or you have Restream, where it's like there are lots of options for that, but it's all very expensive. Like StreamYard charges like $40, I think, to stream to more than 3 destinations. Yeah, I'm very, very happy. And they showed something I want to try next week. This was not really part of the update because they had implemented it earlier, but nobody had discovered it. It's possible to use multiple cameras and to let Ecamm switch the cameras. So you could just say, hey, I've got these 3 cameras. While I'm streaming, just go from this camera to camera 2, and I want you to do a camera switch after 5 or 15 seconds. So, and then it can do it randomly, and it can switch either in the same sequence, or it can just pick. Like I was thinking, if I do Lego, for instance, I can have one camera on me with the overview of the table. I can have a secondary camera on top, an overhead camera doing where you see my hands. And I can have a close-up camera on the table that shows my perspective as a builder. And you can do a close-up of the fingers, of the details of the build. And I never really wanted to do that, because I was like, but I'm building and I'm chatting and I'm typing. I cannot also press buttons to change cameras. And apparently Ecamm can do it automatically. It's just insanely cool. All right. Peter says, in Dutch, soon there will be another Comic-Con in Brussels in May. Cool. I'm not sure if I will be able to go there. I have the Star Wars Celebration in April, and there is also a fantasy fair that I probably will go to in May. I don't know. I don't know about Comic-Con in Utrecht, or if there's going to be a Dutch Comic-Con. Oh, I've been invited. I still need to reply to these guys. I've been invited to be the host of the biggest Star Wars convention in the Netherlands. That's so cool. I was their guest years ago, or one of their guests. And then they invited me back, and I think I was in the US at the time, so I couldn't be there. And now they were inquiring, like, would you be interested in just doing all the interviews and doing the presentation on stage? Yeah, that would be so cool. Oh my gosh. And for I'm not sure if I will have my costume ready, but I want to get my my Death Star chaplain costume. So with the people here of the 501st, I got a tip from someone who says there is this lady, and she makes costumes. She's an expert, very experienced in making Star Wars costumes, and she can make you like a specific Death Star uniform. But we will include the little priest thing, so you can be the chaplain of the Death Star. Give the last rites to Tarkin. Dean is there from NC USA. What is NC? That is an abbreviation for something, but I don't know what. Jeremy, not a lot of snow here in Indiana, just pretty cold with a brutal wind. Bah. Is that -2 Fahrenheit? That is cold. That is too cold. I'm so longing for springtime. Carrie is there. A bit late. You're never too late. Like wizards, they're never too late nor too early. They're always there. What's the quote? At the right time, at the right place. Rings of Power. Character Galadriel. Thoughts. True to Tolkien. Are we doing topics? No, we're just doing general chat. It's Friday. I have a headache. I'm tired. Let's just chat. Yeah, well, I'm usually very confident that they did their research. And so I've seen a lot of criticism on Rings of Power from Tolkien fans, but they made some extremely deliberate choices. And if they made sure, and that was also part of the contract, that nothing that they did could contradict what Tolkien himself had written. And they've also mined his letters. So it's not just the appendices and the books, but Tolkien also made tons of remarks about characters and stuff that has never been published and it's not well known. But they often kind of picked details from that and implemented them in the story. And that explains sometimes the somewhat unexpected choices that they made. I like Galadriel. I think she's a real hero character, and interesting because she's almost tempted to fall for Sauron, and that explains her fear and her rejection when Frodo tells her, "Well, you take the ring," and she's like, "No," because she has been there, and having seen how it almost went wrong in the first season of Rings of Power, that gives that moment more depth. But yeah, I was a big fan of Rings of Power. There was almost nothing that I didn't like, and I'm sure that they will do an even better job for season 2. The only thing that was a bit different from what I expected was that the dialogue was very literary. They emulated the writing style of Tolkien, but it was a bit too much. Sometimes, especially the elves, dudes, can you talk normal? I love the dwarves. They were okay, finally, so at least some people in Middle Earth still talk normal. But yeah, I loved it. Can't wait to see more of the dwarves. -2 Fahrenheit is -19 Celsius. Ooh, that's cold. That is so cold. Sorry, I'm a bit behind on the comments. Let's see. Jeremy Bullock. What was Jeremy Bullock? I'm missing something here in the discussion. Oh, Jeremy Bulloch was the guy who played Boba Fett, right? Yeah. SL7. Your channel is the only patron I want to join, but I've been having issues with my PC and will continue to try. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I appreciate your effort, really. And I hope you'll be able to resolve the issues. Don't hesitate to get in touch if there's anything I can do to help. At those temperatures, if the heat isn't on, you can literally die. That is true. Minus 20 Celsius is dangerous. Oh, my best friend backed into my car and his insurance considers the broken front indicator to make the car unable to drive. Oof. Yeah, I guess the front indicator is formally compulsory. Oh, man. They have to... Can't your insurance company just figure out how to get you a rental car? Wow. Ay, ay, ay. Jeremy's going to a hockey game tonight. Awesome. I assume that's ice hockey, right? Because if you say hockey in the Netherlands, we think of grass hockey, or how do you call that? Like just regular hockey. We specify that hockey as ice hockey. That it's not very popular over here because, well, we don't have that much ice. But regular hockey is a very popular sport. Not yet on par with soccer, but it's close. Greg says, Substack's going well. Serialized 15 chapters of my time travel novel. Awesome. Very cool. Still working on it. I do most of my writing outside of any distribution platform. I write my novel in Scrivener. Oh, I have an old version of Scrivener, I think. Any essays I work on in Notion. Yeah, you're a big Notion user. I tried working in Notion, but I thought the learning curve was a bit was steep. But I do most of what I do is in OneNote, just because I used to use what was it? There's this one app that everybody was using. I forgot what it was. Anyway, and then they started to charge, and so I moved everything over to OneNote, and really works fine for me. It's not perfect, but it does what it needs to do. And I don't write that much anyway. But what I actually don't know. Can you do like drafts in Substack and just write it there, or maybe the thing is just to write it in Pages. What I like about Pages, I use Pages a lot for my short videos that I do for TikTok, and soon for YouTube as well, because if you want to do like a 1-minute video, I have to make sure that my text is between 120 and 200 words. 200 is absolute the maximum amount of words. But for instance, in OneNote, you cannot do a word count, which is insane. It must be so simple to implement. And yet for more than 10 years, Microsoft never added the function. So you can't do word count. Same thing with, I think in Google Pages you can do a word count, but Google Pages is online and it's kind of slow and it's clunky. So I'm using Pages quite a bit on my iPad. And I like that it syncs with the Mac. But I, of course, only use it as a very simple word processor. So I was wondering if, like, I always need to remove as much friction as possible because writing itself is already a big friction point for me. But I'm looking for ways to kind of get into a habit. That's why I would do these live streams. It is literally to force myself to get into that habit, even though I may not always have show notes or energy to record a podcast. I still want to make sure that every day or every work day, I'm live roughly between 5 and 6 my time, just to establish a certain relationship with you as a viewer. And over time, of course, we can always kind of dress it up a little bit more and use multiple cameras and make it more fancy with jingles. But first, I always need to establish a certain routine so it becomes easy. And one of my issues that I always had with live streaming was that it was every time I had to move my laptop and hook up the cameras, and then there was always something. Whereas now I've just got a setup here in the living room because this is the warmest place of the house. Upstairs, because this house is not very well insulated, it's very cold. It's like I'm unable to heat the office where I used to do a lot of my podcasting stuff. Can't get it above 16 degrees Celsius, which is really chilly, especially if you're sitting there all day long. Whereas here, this is also where the thermostat is. So, and we've got more modern radiators. So this is a nice, toasty, warm room. It's not right now, but it can be. And so I just put a little desk here. It's a tiny, tiny desk. I've got the MacBook on a standard, so it's a bit elevated. I've got my Rodecaster here. And so for you, if I use this camera, it looks very clean. There's just this background, but it took me 2 days to figure out how to set it up so that it had a bit of depth, because this is a small alcove, you could say. The rest of the living room is on that side. But that was way too big. But I still wanted to have a little bit of depth, so I figured, well, what if I turn it a bit so you get a corner? That makes it much more interesting to look at. And then, of course, how do I do the lights? And I wanted to have the fireplace because, like a fireside chat, feels a bit cozy. But now that it's in place, I'm super happy with it, and it works well. And I'm so happy to have this microphone standard. These are, I think it's Elgato. This is the best thing I've ever bought, because a lot of the microphone stands are either like a big pole in front of you on the table, and then of course you also have to do the holder so that it doesn't transmit the contact sounds if you touch the table, or it's like this big arm that goes up and then goes down and that's usually always like very visible during a stream. And then I saw this, and this is just like, it's horizontal, so it's connected to the side of the desk, and I can just swivel it around and position it, and it's out of the way. Plus, I can still put my iPad underneath it, and it just moves over it. It can even swivel over part of my Rodecaster. So it's honest, especially because I have a very small surface here. It's such a great solution, and it gets the microphone right where it has to be. I love it. The only thing I want to change is this microphone. This is the Heil PR40. I've been using it for about 10 years now, I think. I would like to have a microphone that is a bit slimmer and maybe just black, so it matches my bright, shiny colors that I normally wear as a priest. Without electricity or the ability to adapt is pretty limited. Is it possible to join your Patreon from an Android tablet? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, in fact, there is a Patreon app on Android. So I assume that if you install the Android app and you just look for Father Roderick, it should work. Either through the Patreon app or the Patreon website. Yeah, and you can always send us a message if you need any help with that. Tom Buck has a video for Ecamm. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Tom Buck is great. I love his channel, and I love his background. His room's super bright colors, and he's really awesome. I think he's a Canadian, right? You can't set timers to do that. Like the switching, maybe? Yeah. Scrivener is nice. Yeah, I think I have version 3. I bought it back when there was Mac Heist, I think. And every once in a while they would have these sales and you could get very cool apps for not much. So I still have the license, but it's only for the old version. And I cannot upgrade because I subscribed with my very, very old email address that goes to nowhere. So I can't, I don't even think that Mac Heist itself exists anymore. So I can't retrieve any updates. So, oh well, probably just have to buy it anew. But I wrote my first book in Scrivener, my first and only book. So, my Apple just notifies me that I was ordained a deacon today in 1996. Wow, okay. That's a long time ago. Evo streamed a funeral mass today. Ah, yeah. Evo is the streaming expert from my previous parish. And he's using OBS and I think a PC-based system. OBS is very powerful, but what I love about Ecamm is they make it super simple to just get going. And now it does everything I want and more. So I'm very glad because now I can stop my my StreamYard subscription, which was still $10 a month, which in itself, is good value because I was grandfathered in for $10 and they don't offer that today. But the thing is, it adds up. It's $120 per year. And with all the other subscriptions, yesterday I was looking for something to watch on TV, and I was like, there are subscriptions that I'm paying for, and I've never watched a single thing on it this entire month. But I just wanted, because in the future they're going to be, like, for instance, Paramount here is part of Sky Showtime. And I know that in the future they are going to be the place for all the Star Trek stuff. And they had this one-time offer during the first month. If you would get a subscription, you would get a lifetime 50% off. And it was already cheap to begin with. So I got that, but it's so disappointing. They're like half of Star Trek is not on it because they still have running licenses with other platforms like Lower Decks and Prodigy. Prodigy may be on Sky, but Lower Decks and Picard are still on Amazon, and like Next Generation, Voyager, I think are still on Netflix. Yeah, it's insane. Plus, they don't even, like, their interface is terrible. I was just looking for, just give me all the Star Trek stuff. Like on Disney, I love it. You can just show me all the Marvel, show me all the Disney, show me all the... With Sky Showtime, like, there's a little bit of Star Trek here, there's a little bit of Star Trek there. Ay. And then you have to use your remote to type in, like, Star Trek, and it's with the arrows, and who designed this app? Not a Star Trek fan. Let's see. I think I missed something here. Oh man, that would be so perfect. You are the chaplain to the geeks. Oh, are you talking about the Death Star chaplain? They came up with that. I didn't make that up. I dressed up once in for the fantasy fair. I was filming there, and I wanted to be a little bit more like integrated to put people at ease. And so someone borrowed me a Slytherin cape. And then, of course, I had to make a backstory, like why, as a priest, I would be walking around in Slytherin costume. And so my backstory became, well, I am the chaplain of the House of Slytherin, because these kids definitely need some spiritual and moral guidance. If there's one place that needs a chaplain, it is Slytherin. And so, but then the whole Death Star chaplain thing, that's what some of the guys of the 501st came up with. And they insist, they were like, it needs to have this, it needs to have that. Okay. GB is joining us from LA, where it's 9:15, or actually it was a while ago. Oh my gosh, I've been missing the conversation here. Am I watching The Bad Batch? Yes, I am. I did a short review on this week's episode of The Break, if you're interested. I still need to upload it, but The Break is my weekly podcast where I have a segment about movies and TV shows, and this week I did a review of the first 5 episodes, like a more impressions, not really a review of the first 5 episodes, with some praise and also some criticism, because especially the last 2 episodes were kind of meh. Lots of potential, but it's not the best storytelling. It looks amazing, but yeah, we're now very spoiled with Andor and just good quality dialogue and stories that really are about something. My only major issue with Galadriel in Rings of Power is the actress is too short. Is that so? Oh, I didn't even notice that. Love her acting, but Galadriel is a tower of awesome. Yeah, she's a bit short, but then again, we don't know much about the biology of elves. Maybe over time, give it a few centuries and she'll grow. I don't know. I like that they got an actress who is very much has that younger vibe, and yet there's still something regal, something determined that matches the Galadriel from the movies. Yeah, I don't know. Casting is always very hard, and I think they will always prefer like quality acting over the certain stature or the looks of someone. But I think I really didn't notice that she was short. Galadriel wasn't using telepathy. She can talk to people while at the same time getting into people's heads. Maybe that's something she develops later or uses more in the future. I don't know. I'm just going through your comments here in trying to catch up, but you type so much. Oh, the ice skating thing. Speed ice skating is a sport the Dutch have always been known for. That's true. Yeah, the speed. That's the most boring type of ice skating that I know. And it's super popular. It's just people going like in circles. Why would I watch that? It's so boring. But like ice hockey, yeah, that's cool. I've been to an ice hockey match in Winnipeg, and I could totally see the appeal because it's very violent and it's constant action. It's got the guy at the organ who does the doom 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 doom. I'd never experienced that in real life, and I was like, wow, this is cool. But man, the obsession with the Dutch with just going in circles. It's like the Tour de France. I mean, I love the Tour de France episodes where they're just going up a mountain and you see the beautiful parts of France. But then you have these days where it's just like going in circles. So boring. Oh, well. In London, it can be awful in the summer when temperatures head above 30 degrees. The heat island effect makes it 10 times worse. I didn't know that. I thought London was always a bit more of a, there was always a breeze and it was always raining and misty. Most of the time when temperature records are broken in the UK, it is in the southeastern half of the UK. Last summer we hit 40 for the first time ever. Yeah, welcome to the future. I'm still tired of my vacation in Tuscany where it was like 45 some days. It's just, there's nothing you can do when it's so hot. I didn't know it got that hot. Yeah, the UK doesn't really have the reputation for high temperatures, but things have been changing. It's made worse that our houses are absolutely not built for dealing with warm weather at all. Yeah, it's true. We have no air conditioning here either. But this house is cold in the winter and it's too hot in the summer. That's why I love springtime. Please, please give me springtime. Even though the last time it rained nonstop. I think it always needs to rain in the UK. That's what they advertise, right? All right. A lot of weather talk today. I have a late start working today, but I must bid you adieu. Have a blessed day and enjoy your weekend wherever you are. Same to you. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the weekend. Viewing plans for this evening. I'll probably watch some more Picard. I'm trying to finish Picard season 2 before the start of the 3rd season. And I kind of enjoy it. With the Borg Queen and everything. It's pretty cool. Not too shabby. And then there's always Deep Space Nine. But I'm trying to get over the Klingon hurdle, which I explained yesterday. Like every episode where it's Klingon focused, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. Maybe I should just skip that episode. I started watching. Oh, what was it? It's a show that reminded me a bit of Lost. It's about a group of teenagers. There's a group of boys and a group of girls, and they are stranded on a deserted island. So apparently their plane crashed. And it's not even clear if it's the same timeline, if it's concurrently or maybe, but they need to survive. And there's a lot of stuff going on that it's mysterious and there's a bit of Maze Runner vibe to it. Maybe they're part of an experiment, but it's super intriguing. So I started watching that. It's 2 seasons. I think they already wrapped up the entire story, but I saw that recommended on TikTok, so I watched it and it was pretty cool. And there was another show that I picked up. Usually I get my tips from TikTok. And then I just check out a few episodes and see if it's my cup of tea. I still need to watch The White Lotus. Apparently, it's a really cool series. And the 2nd season takes place in Italy. So that would be normally right up my alley. Did I watch that on HBO? Maybe. Let's take a look. Let's see. So on HBO, what am I watching? Does it have a list of stuff that I've been watching? So I'm catching up with Friends. I'm a little bit late to the party. Still watching the 1st season. It's okay. It's, it's growing on me. Let's put it that way. It's not the Big Bang Theory. Of course, The Last of Us. I still have to watch the 2nd one. I'm too scared to watch. I need to watch the Top Gun movie. It's now also available online. Yeah, I think I'm only watching The Last of Us right now on HBO. So let's turn on Sky Showtime. What am I watching there? Don't allow. So Top Gun Maverick. Star Trek Prodigy, but I've only seen half of the season and they don't have the second half. It's awesome. I love Star Trek Prodigy. Best animated Star Trek so far. I want to go watch The Mayor of Kingston or Kingstown with Jeremy Renner, who had this terrible accident just a few weeks ago. And that was right before this new series launched. But it sounds intriguing. And I like him as an actor. I think that's all. I don't watch anything else there right now. Okay. Prime? I'm watching more and more Prime because they oh, so that series about the island is called The Wilds. The Wilds. So, yeah, I'm watching quite a bit of stuff on Prime Videos. Picard, The Wilds, The Sound of 007. That was amazing, about all the Bond songs. Nostalgia. Watching Lower Decks, which is also fun, but a little bit too Rick and Morty vibe. Like, oh, that new show, the Scooby-Doo spin-off with Velma. Oh, it's so terrible. What were they thinking? It's so terrible. And it's this, again, it's that like high octane, like, it's, I think Rick and Morty introduced that style of writing where it's all a bit controversial and it tries to be funny, but it's not really that funny. Yeah, I'm getting too old for this. I'm still watching the movie The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage. That one is fun. The Peripheral, very good sci-fi. And that's about it. There were some more series that I started, but I still need to watch The Expanse. I've only watched the first season. Everybody tells me it's the best sci-fi ever, and I still have not watched it. It's also because I forgot what happened in the first season, so I'm like, do I really have to go rewatch the entire first season? I guess I have to. Well, and then Disney Plus. I watch a lot of stuff on Disney Plus, of course. Still watching Rebel Friends. No, just Rebels. Star Wars Rebels. And on Apple, I want to continue watching For All Mankind, which is just absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to see the next season of Ted Lasso. Who doesn't like Ted Lasso? So those are, well, not my plans for tonight, but that's on my list right now. I remember that. I was more thrown by the fact that you are a Gryffindor. Wait, you were surprised that I was a Gryffindor? Of course I'm a Gryffindor. But you can, as a chaplain, you can be raised in the house of Gryffindor and still be a pastor for the Slytherin kids, because as someone from Gryffindor, you've seen the other side of the Slytherin kids. You know what they're capable of, so that gives you extra pastoral information. Every time you want to watch a new episode with more than one series, you have to scroll to the end of the listing of series, and it takes forever on the remote. Yeah, that happens too. I don't think I can use PTZ cameras on Ecamm, no. We've got Donna Rees. Well, hello from Whitstable, England. If you could take any character from the Star Wars universe and give them their own expensive TV series, which one would you pick and why? That's an excellent question. Let me think about that. So any character... Gonk? No. And their own television series. Oh, boy. There are a lot of stories that I would like to somehow see finished. Like, I liked the Solo movie, but I don't think we're ever going to see a sequel to that movie. But I feel like they owe it to us to tell us what happened between Kira and, well, we know because they did it in the comics, but for me that doesn't count. So that's a story that I wouldn't mind. But you ask for one specific character. I would like to see a television series with Finn and Rey. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Maybe Rey, but I definitely think that that's such a great dynamic between those two actors. They had such great chemistry. And I think that Finn also helped Rey's character because she can be a little bit distant in a certain way. Whereas Finn is just a great compliment to that. So yeah, and maybe even beyond that, if you cannot get the same actors back, I would love to see a television series where an older Finn and an older Rey and maybe some other characters from the sequels would run a Hogwarts-style Jedi Academy. Like I always felt that the whole Jedi Academy concept was so underdeveloped, and still now in the flashbacks, what do you see? It's just always that stupid room where they're just swinging lightsabers, and then Yoda. No school is like that. There's so much potential for a great series. I don't know why they never explored, like, do a Hogwarts version of Hogwarts in the Jedi-verse. Or maybe even multiple schools all over the galaxy. I think it would be fantastic. So that would be an option. But one character. Not a clone warrior. I think we've seen too many clones. Wookiees, no. Yoda, no. The Mandalorian already has Grogu. Do you have any suggestions? I just don't know. I would love to see a television series focused on the what's his name? The Jedi from the video game from the Fallen Order. Just do what they did with The Last of Us. Take the game, turn it into a TV series, instant success. That would be another option. But I don't work for Disney, so we'll have to wait and see. Some more comments on Galadriel's height. Jason says, your recommendation of For All Mankind was spot on. I'm on season 2 and completely hooked. It is brilliant. It's fantastic. Such amazing writing. And so emotional too. I mean, the stories are so real. It reminds me a lot of what I felt when I was watching Ronald Moore's Battlestar Galactica. There's so much humanity in those shows. And I think this one is actually even better, or a lot better actually, than Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. Awesome show. So much great television. Sandy says, hey, Father, I started The Bad Batch, and I found it to be a little different from the first season. Yeah. love the series nonetheless. Yeah, it is a bit different. Of course, this is just the beginning. We've only seen 5 episodes. It may very well be that at the end of the season, you will understand why they had episodes. Like the big beast in the last episode was so, well, like out of nowhere, and it went nowhere. But maybe they're setting something up for later. I don't know. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But as an episode on itself, I thought it was a bit lackluster. And the racing, well, it was cool. Nothing wrong with it. My biggest point of criticism would be the lack of character development of Omega. In fact, I would even dare to say that Omega is going downhill in terms of character development. I thought she was a much more interesting character in the first season. And for the 5 episodes, she's always been the same kind of one-dimensional, yeah, let's go do that. And then really emphasizing the Kiwi accent. And it's... There's nothing happening with that character. And she's supposed to be one of the main drivers of the story. I don't get it. It's and the rest of the Bad Batch also, it all stays a bit flat. The only interesting character so far in the second season is Crosshair, with his PTSD, and yeah, there is a lot going on there. And that one, the 3rd episode, that was all of us like, is this the same series? It was so good. And then they go back to the fluff things and the racing and the yippee-ki-yay stuff. Yeah, I don't know. But we'll wait and see. I mean, it's directed towards kids mostly, so. Lockwood and Co. on Netflix about ghost hunting kids. I've never heard of that series, but thanks for the tip. I'll check it out. Oh, a Gryffindor as the Slytherin chaplain. Yeah, well, as I explained, it's with teachers and chaplains in the Harry Potter universe. It doesn't really matter which house you are from. If you're a teacher or a chaplain, you're there for the kids. It's not about you. It's not about your identity. But I think a chaplain always has to be a little bit of an outsider. Makes you less predisposed in a certain way. That is why it's never good if a priest is ordained, you would never put him in the village where he comes from, because he has to be a contrasting figure in a certain way. So you usually put someone in a different place where people don't know him, and it's better for the overall dynamic, I think. So that's why, as a Gryffindor raised wizard, or non-muggle, I should say, I wouldn't have any objection in serving the Slytherin kids. Hello, the Rain09. Welcome.
SL7, a Master Yoda series you want? Not certain. A good idea that would be. Yoda, seen him a lot we have.
How is your Wheel of Time journey going? You still enjoying the books? I haven't read any of the new books. I got stuck in the 4th book, and then there's so much else that I'm currently reading, but I do want to read at least one more book this year. But I'm taking it easy. Those are heavy books. The lady, I forget her name, she runs the spare parts business and loves Baby Yoda with all the robots. Oh, you want to do a story about her, the curly hair? Yeah, I know her. I don't know if that would be enough for an entire series. Pelimotto. Oh, I don't even remember her name. My partner says Lando between Solo and The Empire Strikes Back. How did he end up running Cloud City? That was actually in the works. They wanted to do a Lando series. It's just that they couldn't get Glover because he's doing so many other things. So it's on the back burner now. But yeah, Lando was what, and that could have been a bit of a consolation for the fans of Solo, that at least we can see his further adventures. I don't think they've written it off yet, but something tells me it's not going in that direction right now. Could you invite Don Bettinelli for a Star Wars talk during your podcast? We used to do The Secrets of Star Wars, which is one of the shows on SQPN. Dom and I started that. So yeah, we both love Star Wars very much. It's just that with the time zone difference, him being Boston and me in the Netherlands, it's always a hassle to get everyone together. Plus, Dom is a busy man. He's taking care of all those different shows and does the editing and the promotion. So yeah, I'm not sure if that would work out, but who knows? Maze Windu series. Maybe. Although, yeah. Again, I don't think they're going to do it because they probably won't be able to afford Samuel Jackson. It's just too expensive. You pay everything for the actor, and then you still have to do all the effects and the writers. There's so many Star Wars characters that have an A backstory. Yeah. Hello there. And alrighty. It's so long ago. What is long ago? Oh, you mean that we did the show together? Yeah. It is a long time ago. It's true. Hey, I want to propose that we wrap it up here. It is still a bit chilly here. I want to turn on the heat. I can't turn on the radiator when I'm doing the streaming because it makes a lot of ticking noises, super annoying. And then for me, it's time to get some rest because I've had a busy week. I'm going to upload the podcast episode of The Break. And then maybe later this weekend, I'll also post a new episode of my show, my Patreon show for about story secrets with my analysis of Chainsaw Man. And otherwise, I'll just push that to next week. So next week, same idea. I hope to keep this up. If you like it, if you keep showing up, then I'll be there too. So every weekday on 5 p.m. my time, it's Amsterdam time. That's 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific time. On Monday, we'll just do Lego. And maybe I'll test out a setup with multiple cameras, if I can make that work. And then Tuesday, Star Wars. So we'll talk, and maybe I'll change the order because I feel like maybe I should put Star Wars on Wednesday because that's when the new episodes drop, and then maybe do, I don't know, anime on Tuesday. I used to do cooking on Wednesday. Maybe I'll move cooking to Thursday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, it's going to be 5 o'clock, and if you want to support my work, then I invite you to check out my Patreon page. And you can go to patreon.com/Father Roderick, and you'll get extra perks as well. Have you read any Lovecraft stuff? No, I haven't. No. It's one of the things that's still on my list. All right. Well, it was great fun. Thank you so much for hanging out. It didn't have I was planning on doing an anime themed thing, but then I had to do the update of the software. And frankly, at the end of the week, I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit like, I'm just tired. I just want to chat. So next time, maybe we'll do. One of the things I would like to do is to do what my friend Mountain Torek is doing in Rome. He does every week, I think on Tuesdays. He goes and sits on a terrace in Rome and just has a drink and chats. That sounds lovely to me. To just go to maybe one of the bars here in Wageningen and just do one stream every week where I'm not here in my hobbit hole, but I'm like somewhere else. That could be fun. Maybe even combine it with food or something. Well, plenty of possibilities. But for now, time to go celebrate the weekend. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and make sure to check out my podcasts if you like all this. Yeah, he has his Tipsy Tuesdays. Yeah, I can't do that because that would set a bad example. But maybe a Thursday tea. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and may the force be with you. Bye.